Hello everyone, welcome to the 100 Days of Cloud. This is Lakshit Pant from Azure Developer Community, and today we'll moreover cover about the Linux part, right? I was explaining a couple of terms in the group, right? Let's quickly ignore it. But today it is more about setting up the Linux virtual environment where you can just perform these Linux commands. Because for the next 20 days we are going to perform Linux commands. We are going to make some Linux projects, right? I'll make you 5 projects in Linux, right? It will be a network scanner app using Nmap, and there'll be a couple of things that we'll be doing, right? And this 20 days of Linux, next 20 days of Linux. So how we can do it, right? How you can be a part of it, and how you can start your Linux journey, right? So there can be 2 3 cases which I'm going to consider. First, you're already using an Ubuntu system, right? So I'll share my screen, I'll quickly show it to you. There is only 2 3 cases which will be there, right? First, you are already using Linux, right? Second case can be you are using Mac. Third case could be you are using Windows machine. These are the cases on the high level that I'm going to consider right now. Now let's talk about the first case. First case, if you are using Linux, you are all sorted, because today day 26 is more about setting up the Linux virtual environment. So if you are already using Linux, you are good to go. You do not have to do any of this step, right? Now if you are maybe if you are using maybe the Mac system, right? Maybe if you are not maybe if you are using the if you're using a MacBook. Yeah, so if you are already, so these are the 3 cases on which high level we are going to discuss is about, right? So first case could be if you are already using Linux, that you are all good to go, and do not have to install maybe anything on your system. You just have to perform all these commands that we will be building, and you are good to go, right? I'll just share you a couple of steps, right? Then then there is one then th- there is the hi Daksh. So then there is the next step, that is about the, if you are a Mac user, what you can do. You can simply either you can, so there will be a slight difference between the Mac shell commands and the Linux commands. You can use all these things, like you can try out these things like Mac for Windows, sorry, Linux for Windows. You can just try out this thing. It will help you out. This will help you out to set up a Linux environment in your system, right? This will help you out a Linux environment in your system, right? It is a good article that parallels, right? You can just try out this article if you want to explore it, right? It's better to explore it, right? This is a decent article that I found it on the internet. And if you want maybe something from Mac only, you can also refer to this resource. This will help you out to, from a graphical user interface perspective, this will help you out, right? So just try out this thing. And the third and the last thing, that is if and the third and the last thing that will be final thing, that is about the, if you are a Windows user, how you can just build it. Wow, if your system is dual boot with Ubuntu, it's the best. It's the best. Maybe I'll say, just switch to Windows, Linux only. Linux is the best thing you can ever do to yourself if you're a developer, right? Considering the third case, if you are a Windows user, right? Windows user. First of all, the first option is, as Daksh is doing, you can just dual boot your system. How to dual boot your system? It is, again, I'll just show you one article, right? Dual boot Windows for Linux. So this article by open source media is very much good, right? If you want to dual boot your system, this is the best article. This will help you out to divide your RAM and ROM purpose for utilizing Linux purposes, right? So it typically switches between Ubuntu and Linux, right? So you can, for this high level use case, we are going to use Ubuntu, right? But there are multiple ways by which you can do it, right? There are some couple of other ways by which you can also use, and which I'll be doing, that is WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux. WSL for, so you have to search for Windows Subsystem for Linux. This will help you out. So I'm sharing the documentation with you. This will help you out to build, to start building with Linux. I'm going to use WSL for this entire series because I've been working on WSL, because if your laptop doesn't have a decent space to decent space to dual boot your system. So while dual booting your system, you need at least half, maybe 200, maybe 250 MBs of dedicated memory, dedicated RAM of your local hard drive, of your C disk drive, to dual boot it. But I didn't have it. So what I did, I divided my RAM. So what I did is, I'm working on a 8 GB laptop, HP laptop system, right? So I have allocated, I have installed the WSL. Now, remember one thing, how the WSL works. If I hope my screen is visible too. I'll quickly show you this up. No, is this one control alt delete? Yeah, task manager, if you will see. I hope this task manager will be visible to you all, right? In this task manager, this everything is about. Here you will see one WSL machine is always up and running. Right now, I'm not using any Windows and everything, but I'll show it to you. Just give me 1 second. I'll show it to WSL. You will find WSL running over here in the background. I'll tell you the reason of this. Give me 1 second. I'll show it to you. The reason of this WSL running in the background process is, this WSL takes a particular space in your system permanently. So if right now I'm working, I was having maybe these 8 GB RAM laptop. Now I'm having, now I'll be, and I have assigned 2 GB to this WSL part. Now I'll be having only now I'll be having only maybe this one. See, you can see this is the Windows subsystem for Linux. You can see is running right now. WSL service that you can see, it is running right now. It is taking 20.3 MB of space right now. So this is the reason I was telling you. So what this WSL will do, if you are working on an 8 GB system, you will be, if you assign it 2 GB to WSL, now your system, your Windows machine will only be able to, will all perform all the tasks of 6 GB. That 2 GB, it's like you have deleted those 2 GB. Just remember it. So if you do not, if you are working on a high end system, if you are not, if you are working on a 8 GB laptop only, then RAM laptop only, then install WSL. Otherwise, don't. Otherwise, you can use Oracle Virtual Machine, Oracle VirtualBox. Just search for Oracle VirtualBox. You can set up everything right over here. It is a very easy process. It will take you 5-10 minutes to set up the entire VirtualBox. You can use Oracle VirtualBox, right? This is another way which you can use Linux, right? This is for Windows users. And even if your system is not that much handy that it can handle the VirtualBox, you can use cloud for it, Azure cloud for it. I hope you got Azure credit, your all the Azure credits. Now when you deploy virtual machine, you just have to select the Ubuntu machine, and there you will run all the commands. You will make all the projects that we will be doing. I hope that is simple for you. So what are the ways? First, if you are a Linux users, it is all good. You have done it already. If you are a Mac user, you can install a, you can again, there is very small changes commands when we talk about Linux for Mac users, right? Again, you can always use a VirtualBox. Third thing is, if you are a Windows user, how can you use it? Either you can just dual boot your system, but if your system is not capable of running a dual boot, it cannot handle the dual boot of your system, then what you can do is, then you can install WSL. What WSL will do, it will take the allocated space, it will take the allocated 2 GB of memory of your system permanently, right? So now if your system was of 16 GB, it will be of now roughly around 14 GB if you assign it 2 GB, right? So this is the reason of running WSL. But again, I feel WSL is pretty much handy and gives you a lots of edges when you work for it. So make your environment ready before we do any stuff in Linux, right? That's it for today. If you have any doubt, any query, setting up your virtual environment, setting up your Linux environment for your machine, do not hesitate to reach out to me on the WhatsApp group. I'll be very happy to help you, right? If you face any doubt, any query in setting up your environment in virtual machine, for Linux users, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be very happy to help. So that's it pretty much for today's session. And tomorrow we will start with some basic commands of Linux. We'll be go hand by hand. We will try to learn some, maybe some file and directory management commands. We'll also learn some basically system management commands, some file comparison and manipulation commands, networking commands, monitoring commands, system information process management commands. Will cover category wise, everything will cover in Linux. Do not worry, we'll be covering 5 6 categories in Linux. You do not have to memorize any of those commands, but still, if you get, when you get handy, you will be very, it will be on your fingertips, right, in these 20 days. So let's build this together, and yeah, see you tomorrow same time. Thank you everyone for joining in, and I have shared one, uh if you want to see what will be the project that we'll be making in these days, if you want to see the projects that we will be making in these next days, right, just see this stuff. Do not register, you okay, you won't be able to register because the registration is already closed. But here you will be able to see in this link, you will be able to see what all projects we will be building for this Linux cohort, for this entire Linux series. What projects we will be building, you would be able to see it here, right? So see this here, and this is what we'll be building for next 20 days, right, as our Linux projects. So see you next time, tomorrow at the same time, around maybe around 8 p.m. And yeah, best of luck, and set up your Linux environment, and let me know if you have any doubt, any query, right? Thank you everyone for joining in today. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.